उवाच चास अन्त्यस्य बन्धनानयनं सति मुच्यतामुच्यतामीश ब्राह्मणो नितरां गुरुः
उवाच च सहन्त्यस्य बन्धनानयनं सति मुच्यतामेष ब्राह्मणो नितरां गुरुः
उवाच च सहन्त्यस्य बन्धनानयनं सति मुच्यतामीशा ब्राह्मणो नितरां गुरुः
उवाच च सहन्त्यस्य बन्धनानयनं सति मुच्यतामेष ब्राह्मणो नितरां गुरुः.
Uvacha said, cha and asahanti being unbearable for her, asya his, bandhana being bound, anayanam bringing him, sati the devoted, mucyatam just get him released. Eshaha, this, Brahmanaha, a Brahmana, Nitaram, our, Guruhu, teacher. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Translation. She could not tolerate Ashwatthama's being bound by ropes, and being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahmana, our spiritual master. Kindly repeat. She could not tolerate Ashwatthama's being bound by ropes, and being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahmana, our spiritual master. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As soon as Ashwatthama was brought before Draupadi, she thought it intolerable that a Brahmana should be arrested like a culprit and brought before her in that condition, especially when the Brahmana happened to be a teacher's son. Arjuna arrested Ashwatthama, knowing perfectly well that he was the son of Dronacharya. Krishna also knew him to be so, but both of them condemned the murderer without consideration of his being the son of a Brahmana. According to revealed scriptures, a teacher or spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or spiritual master. A guru is called also an acharya, or a person who has personally assimilated all the essence of Shastras and has helped his disciples to adopt the ways. Ashwatthama failed to discharge the duties of a Brahmana or a teacher, and therefore he was liable to be rejected from the exalted position of a Brahmana. On this consideration, both Lord Shri Krishna and Arjuna were right in condemning Ashwatthama. But to a good lady like Draupadi, the matter was considered not from the angle of Shastric vision, but as a matter of custom. By custom, Ashwatthama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. It was so because, generally, the people accept the son of a Brahmana as a real Brahmana by sentiment only. Factually, the matter is different. A Brahmana is accepted on the merit of qualification and not on the merit of simply being the son of a Brahmana. But in spite of all this, Draupadi desired that Ashwatthama be at once released, and it was all the same a good sentiment for her. This means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sorts of tribulation personally, but still, such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. These are the characteristics of one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. August 15th is a very important day for all Indians. What happened on August 15th? Independence. India got independence, isn't it? 1947. So before that, what was the state of India? India had been subjugated by the British. And the British ruled India for how many years? 200 years. Almost 200 years, isn't it? Now, the question is, why did the Britishers come to India? Because when the Britishers, 200 years before they came to India, India's GDP contribution to the whole world's GDP, if you see, India's contribution was 24%. That means almost 1/4 of the world's economy was from India. So, 1/4 of the economy all over the world means it's not small. Naturally, the British came to India. Now, when they came to India, they did not simply engage in economical transaction. That, okay, there is 24% GDP here, let us also go there. No. They were not interested in just making money. They wanted to loot the money. So what they did, they politically also subjugated India. And so, by 1947, in 200 years, by the time the Britishers left India on August 15, 1947, India's GDP contribution to the world GDP came down from 24% to 3.5%. So you can imagine how much the Britishers, what all they would have done. And other statistics were also very, extremely disappointing. Average lifespan of an Indian had come to around 28-30 years. That was the lifespan of an Indian on August 15, 1947. 200 years of British rule. This is what had done to India. And the literacy rate in India was, today it is about 75%, isn't it? When the Britishers left India, it was 12%. So you can see what the Britishers did to India. Another thing, as a consequence of all this, what had happened was, India had a very strong Varnashrama system. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Sannyasis, Grihasthas, Brahmacharis, Vanaprasthas. These were all strongly part of the Indian societal fabric. Now, before the Britishers came over and took over India, there were the Mughals who were ruling over India. Mughals, they came and they settled here. So all the wealth remained within India. But then they displaced all the Hindu rulers. So the moment the Muslim rulers, they displaced the Hindu rulers, the first thing that happened was they stopped patronizing the Brahmanas. Before the Muslims came to India, when the Hindu rulers were ruling over India, as part of the Varnashrama system, Brahmanas would engage only in studying the Vedic scriptures and spreading the knowledge of the Vedas to all the common mass of people. And Vedas means not only just philosophical knowledge. Vedas also included other aspects, like, for instance, Dhanurvidya, which was Dronacharya was expert in Dhanurvidya, and that's what he taught to the Pandavas. So they would teach all the Kshatriyas, all the royal people, what are the different tactics to be engaged in warfare, how to fight and all that. Another branch of Vedas would be Ayurveda, knowledge of medicine, health, etc. Shri Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama ki. The Brahmanas would be repositories of medicinal knowledge. And wherever they would go, anybody falls sick, they will immediately look for the Brahmana within the community. They'll go to him. He will tell you, take this herb, you take that herb, you mix it in this way and have it like this, and they would get cured. And every village would have one or two Brahmanas who would run a Gurukula. And all the children of the village can go there and get educated. And whatever the Brahmana will do, whether it is Dhanurvidya, Ayurveda or general education, they would never charge any fee. The only concept was Guru Dakshina. According to the capacity of the student, how much gratitude he feels and how much capacity he has, according to that they'll give some Dakshina. Dakshina is not fees. Out of my own volition, whatever I feel like, I give. The Brahmanas would accept that. So you see, medicine was free, education was free, military knowledge was free. What else do you need? Society was very comfortably living. And because the Brahmanas are giving free knowledge like this, free medicinal treatment, all these kind of things, the society as a whole, the Kshatriyas, the rulers, they would take care of the Brahmanas. This used to be the system. The moment the Muslims came and displaced the Hindu rulers, what happened? They stopped patronizing the Brahmanas. So what happened? All the Vaishyas, the mercantile people, the rich people, they started patronizing the Brahmanas. So if you see, even in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, the father and uncle of Raghunath Das Goswami, they used to take care of all the expenses of all the Brahmanas in that Nadia district. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father was also maintained by them. Advaita Acharya was maintained by them. Haridas Thakur was maintained by them. Practically everybody in that Nadia, they would maintain them. So there were still Hindus who were Jamindars, who had a lot of money. So they would patronize the Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas were still going on. But when the Britishers came, the Britishers could not wrap their head around what is this Varnashrama system. They are not able to figure out. So according to their understanding, they had to create, so the Britishers, when they came, that is when they started large-scale governmental maintenance of governmental records. Putting everything into paper, writing, having a registry office, all these things, very systematically they made everything. So when they make all the government records, what happens? You have to take down the details of the person. What is the name of the person? What is his father's name? And they also included one thing, what is his caste? So what happened? Gradually, even in schools, if you have to go and take an admission, even today, it is like that. We are still following that, British system. You go and fill in an application, you have to write your name, you have to write your religion, and they will ask what is your caste also. And now even census is conducted in that way. So these are all the remnants, the vestiges of the British, what the British did. Because they couldn't understand what is this Varnashrama system. They thought by birth, everybody is put into certain castes. And so what they did, they said by birth, okay, this man is son of this Brahmana, so he's a Brahmana. That's his caste. And not only that, the Britishers, because the Britishers were looting India, all the mercantile people also became poor. There were very few people who were rich in India because the Britishers were systematically looting everyone. GDP went down from 24% to 3.5%, you can understand. Literacy rate went down from, practically it was almost 100%, it went down to 12%. So you can imagine, where are Indians to be there, to be able to conduct business and make money and all that? Very few people used to be there. So what happened? Patronizing of the Brahmanas also stopped. Neither the rulers were patronizing, nor there were any rich mercantile people to patronize the Brahmanas. So what happened? Brahmanas had to take up jobs. So they started working. livelihood, something they have to eat. And gradually, what happened? Person born in a Brahmana family becomes a Brahmana no matter what he is doing. He may be engaged in sweeping the street, still people will call him Panditji. Panditji is illiterate, but he is Panditji. And somebody is born in a Kshatriya family, he automatically becomes a Kshatriya. This became the system. So actually you see how originally the Varnashrama system was not like that. But with the Britishers, their misinterpretation of the Varnashrama system, it became a by-birth caste system. And this has become so much ingrained into the human mind, because the Indian mind, because 200 years systematically this has been, over 10 generations this has been indoctrinated into the people, that you are this caste by birth. So because of that, what happened? After India got independence in 1947, the political leaders at that time, they did not go back to Indian culture. They said, we'll continue with the British culture. We will have a secular government. We have got nothing to do with religion. So the government did not patronize the Brahmanas even then. So what happened? That indoctrination continued. And so because of that, what happened? Few years back, maybe year 2001 or so, something like that. Those days, I used to be in Bangalore temple, and I used to, my service used to be going out, meeting people, raising funds. That used to be my service. So one day I walked into one person's house and I started speaking to him. Somehow the discussion steered around and went to the caste system. And this person I was speaking to, it was an affluent man, good big house and all that, and educated man. We are discussing, conversing in English. So you can understand, this is an educated man. And he was making a point that caste is by birth. So I wanted to, naturally, I wanted to correct him. So I said, you see, suppose a doctor is born, suppose in a doctor's family, a son is born to a doctor. So when he grows up, will he automatically become doctor? He will not become doctor. He has to go to college, he has to get an MBBS degree, then only he will become doctor. Similarly, if there is a lawyer, his son will not automatically become a lawyer. If he wants to become a lawyer, then he has to go to college, he has to learn LLB and all that, then only he will become a lawyer. Otherwise, you cannot call him a lawyer just because he is born in a lawyer's family. This much I told. The man immediately responded. He became agitated. And he said, no, doctor's son must become doctor, lawyer's son must become lawyer. So I understood. I said, okay, no problem. You please take this prasadam, chant Hare Krishna. Whenever you get your time, you come to the temple. And I left. What can I say to such a person? So you see, that much it has got ingrained into the minds of the Indians. That caste system means it is by birth only. But what is the reality? Reality, there are innumerable examples in the Vedic scriptures. How the caste is not by birth. One brilliant example is Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni was born as a king, Kshatriya. But within the same life, he did tapasya and he transformed himself into a Brahmana. You see? Then there are other examples also. Ravana, born to a Brahmana father. Nobody calls him Brahmana. Everybody calls him Asura only. You see? And we can see here, today's verse, what we are discussing. How Ashwathama, he has committed a heinous act. He has killed the sleeping sons of the Pandavas, the 5 sleeping sons. The sons of Pandavas were all very young. Maximum they were 16 years old. That's all. The Pandavas, they had 5 sons before they went into Vanavasa, before they went into the forest exile. So these sons, they had left behind. The 5 sons were already born to the Pandavas before they went to the Ajñātavasa and Vanavasa. So by the time the Pandavas came back after the Ajñātavasa, these sons had grown up. So they were in that age group, 15 years, 16 years. Like even Abhimanyu was about 16 years old, born to Arjuna and Subhadra. So Subhadra was also married to Arjuna before the Pandavas went to Vanavasa. And that is how they were all 14, 15 years old, that much only. Young boys, teenagers. And they also participated in the battle of Kurukshetra. And after the battle of Kurukshetra was over, they were sleeping in their camp. And when they were sleeping in the middle of the night, Ashwatthama came and beheaded them. And then he took that 5 heads of the 5 sleeping sons of the Pandavas and took it to Duryodhana and told him, I killed the 5 Pandavas, I brought their heads for you. But Duryodhana, he could make out that these heads are not the heads of the Pandavas. And so therefore he condemned Ashwatthama, that what have you done? Why have you killed the sons? They were the last remaining people who could take our dynasty forward. You finished the whole dynasty. So like this, Duryodhana lamented. So you can imagine Ashwatthama, who beheaded the sleeping sons of the Pandavas, how cruel he is, how unprincipled he is. And so therefore, when Arjuna and Krishna together, they captured him. In the previous verse, they referred to him as Brahma Bandhu. But although they called him Brahma Bandhu, they said, you are not a Brahmana, you are not acted like a Brahmana. Brahmana will never do this kind of heinous activity. He will never deviate from the path of Dharma. And you have done such an adharmic thing. Greatly sinful activity you have done. You cannot be called a Brahmana. You are called the son of a Brahmana. Okay, that's all. But when the same Ashwatthama is brought before Draupadi, what is Draupadi's reaction? She is saying, Asahanti, she saw, oh, this Ashwatthama has been bound by ropes like an animal. So Asahanti, she said, oh, what have you done, Arjuna? What have you done? You have bound a Brahmana like this. You will get great sin. You please release him, release him. This is a great offense. Not only is a Brahmana, Nitaram Guruhu. He is our Guru also. He is the Guru Putra. He is the son of Dronacharya. Dronacharya was your Guru. So he is also in the position of your Guru. So release him, release him. This is Draupadi's reaction. So she is acting. Prabhupada gives 2 reasons for Draupadi's reaction. Draupadi is not saying, oh, this is a Brahma Bandhu. She is saying, no, he is Brahmana, he is Guru. So first, Prabhupada analyzes from the perspective of a general person in the world, a common person, a common man. From a common man's perspective, Prabhupada analyzes Draupadi's reaction. So Draupadi's reaction is like that man who said, doctor's son must become doctor, advocate's son must become advocate. So her reaction is like that. From a common person's perspective, that she is not discriminating. Why she is not discriminating like Arjuna and Krishna? Arjuna studied under Dronacharya for so many years. For nearly 20-25 years, he studied under Dronacharya from the beginning. He was, as a Kshatriya, he was interested. He, along with all the other Pandavas and Kauravas, they were all entrusted to Dronacharya from the beginning for being taught in the military science. So Arjuna was Dronacharya's student for so many years. And not only that, Arjuna was the favorite student of Dronacharya. You can imagine Dronacharya made Arjuna his best student. Not his own son. Dronacharya's son Ashwatthama also learnt the art of warfare along with all the Pandavas and Kauravas. But Dronacharya did not make his son the best warrior. He made Arjuna the best warrior. So you can imagine how much kripa was there on Arjuna because of Dronacharya. So how much Arjuna respected Dronacharya, but still Arjuna has captured Dronacharya's son Ashwatthama like an animal and brought him. And he is referring to Ashwatthama as Brahma Bandhu, not as Brahmana. Krishna also knew who is Ashwatthama. He is the son of the teacher, the spiritual master of the Pandavas of Arjuna. But still Krishna also said he is a Brahma Bandhu. So this discrimination you can see in Arjuna and in Krishna. Why? Because they were looking at Ashwatthama's actions from the perspective of Shastras. What do the Shastras say? Actually, the Shastras, what the Shastras state, in the Padma Purana, it is mentioned Na Shudraste Bhagavad Bhaktaha Tepi Bhagavatottamaha Sarva Varneshu Shudra Syat Yadi Na Bhaktaha Janardane. So the Padma Purana is saying, if a Vaishnava, a devotee of Krishna, if he is born in a Shudra family, somebody is born in a Shudra family but he becomes a devotee of Krishna, Na Shudra. So a person who is Na Shudra Bhagavad Bhakta, those who are a devotee of Krishna should not be considered as a Shudra, although he may be born in a Shudra family. Bhagavatottama, they have to be considered the topmost of all the devotees. On the other hand, Sarva Varneshu Te Shudra. If somebody is born even in a Brahmana family, he may be born in a Brahmana family, Kshatriya family, Vaishya family, so-called higher caste. But if they are na bhakta Janardana, if they are not a devotee of Janardana, Krishna, then even if a person is born in a higher caste, he should be considered a Shudra. So classification of a Shudra is not by birth, by your devotion to Krishna. So we have to understand that in the ancient times, Brahmana means every Brahmana would worship Shalagrama Shila. Every Brahmana's house, there will be Shalagrama. Without Shalagrama, nobody can be a Brahmana. So today it is different. So I remember in my childhood, my father came with a proposal and he was discussing with my mother and I overheard. We are born in a Brahmana family. So my father was saying, somebody has offered a Shalagrama Shila. Shall I take? Shall I accept? And my mother replied, oh, no, don't take Shalagrama Shila. So much rules and regulations will come. Please don't accept. So then my father also dropped the idea. So you see, today, you may be born in a Brahmana family. But although you are born in a Brahmana family, how many of them born in Brahmana families are worshipping Shalagrama? So, in the olden times, Brahmana means Shalagrama is a must. Without a Shalagrama, how can you be a Brahmana? It was like that. So, therefore, Brahmana means he is a devotee of Vishnu automatically because he is worshipping Shalagrama. And today, Brahmana's family, there will be no Shalagrama. How can we call him a Brahmana? So, even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, there is a conversation by Chamasa Muni. There is a statement by Chamasa Muni. Chamasa Muni is one of the Nava Yogendras, 9 rishis. So he states in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto, Mukhabahuru padebhyaha purushasyashramaihi saha chatvaro jajnire gunair vipradaya prathak. He gives, Chamasa Muni speaks about the Varnashrama system. So he says, Mukha, Bahu, Uru, Pada. From the face, from the Bahu, the arms, the Uru, the thighs, and Pada, the legs. Mukha, Bahu, Uru, Padebhyaha, Purushasya Ashramaihi Saha. From the face, the arms, the thighs, and the legs of the Purusha, of the Virata Purusha. Ashramaihi Saha, Chatvaro Jajire Varna. Chatvara Varna, the 4 Varnas were born out of the face, the arms, the thighs and the legs. Vipradaya, beginning with the Brahmanas. Meaning the Varna of Brahmana. The Brahmanas were born from the face of Virata Purusha. Kshatriyas were born from the arms. The Vaishyas were born out of the thighs of Virat Purusha. And the Shudras were born out of the legs of the Virata Purusha. Meaning, when you say face or head, that is where you get all the direction, purpose of life, direction to one's life, what I should do in life, what is my goal in life, who am I, where have I come from, who is God, what is my relationship with Him. All these things you can understand only with your head. So, because the Brahmanas give that understanding to the society, they are said to come from the head of the Virata Purusha. Now, the society just doesn't need philosophy. Philosophy is required. Otherwise, we'll be directionless society. We'll become animal society. So, if the human society has to be civilized, you need proper direction. So, that proper direction comes from the Brahmanas. Now, if you have proper direction and philosophy alone, it's not enough. You also need to protect yourself. You need to protect the society. There will be so many challenges which will come to the society and to ourselves from various quarters. So how do we protect the society and the citizens? For that, the Kshatriyas are there. And it's natural, Prabhupada also says, the moment somebody attacks you, somebody assaults you, somebody takes one hockey stick and comes to hit you, what will happen? First thing you will do is, you will put up your hand. That's your first line of defense. So, defense happens by the arms. Our arms are our first line of defense. Therefore, the Kshatriyas are said to have come from the arms of Virata Purusha. Then, if you have the arms and if you have the head alone, it's not enough. You need nourishment for the body. The body has to be sustained. Similarly, the society also, you have people to protect you, and you have people to give you direction in life alone is not enough. Society also needs economy. So who will sustain the society? That is done by the Vaishyas and by the Shudras, who will ensure that the society is properly maintained and run with economy, with service and all that. Therefore, they are said to come from the thighs and the legs. Because without the thighs and the legs, the body, if you have only a torso, then, life becomes very tough. You cannot even maintain yourself properly. If you have proper legs, you can walk, you can do so many things, you can earn your livelihood, all these things you can do. Therefore, the Vaishyas and the Shudras who sustain the society are compared to the thighs and the legs of the Virata Purusha. So, all these four Varnas are born from the different parts of the body of the Virata Purusha, meaning all are equal in that sense. Everybody is a child of the Supreme Lord. You cannot discriminate on the basis of birth. Oh, this person is lower, this person is higher. We are all sons of God. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham bija pradapita sarva yonishu kaunteya. So, that way, everybody is a part of the Supreme Lord. Everybody is equal in that sense. But everybody has a specific function to perform in society. Purushasya ashramaihi saha. So, the Varnas, four Varnas, along with the four ashramas, were generated from the body of Vishnu. And then Chamasa Muni states that having born from the body of Vishnu, yayesham purusham sakshat, yayesham purusham sakshat, atma prabhavam ishwaram, na bhajanti avajananti sthanat brashtat padantyadaha. So, there are four Varnas and four ashramas are created. Now, if somebody is born into a particular Varna, one is born into a Brahmana family and he identifies himself as a Brahmana, another person is born into a Kshatriya family, he identifies himself as a Kshatriya, similarly Vaishya and Shudra also. But, having born into the Varnashrama system, yayesham purusham sakshat atma prabhavam ishwaram. That Ishvara, who is Atma Prabhava, who is the source of all the living entities, who is the Supreme Father. Na bhajanti, if you don't render devotional service to him, avajananti, but you neglect worship of that Vishnu, from whose body you have all come. But neglecting the worship of Vishnu, if you strut around saying that I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya, I am a Vaishya, I am a Shudra, then sthanat brashtaha. You cannot maintain your position anymore within the varnashrama system. Patantyadaha, you are fallen. You cannot be called a Sanatani if you are not a devotee of Vishnu. You can call yourself, as in the material world today, in the Indian society, people call themselves, I am a Kshatriya, I am a Vaishya, I am a Brahmana, just by their birth. But having born into that varnashrama system, na bhajanti avajananti. If you neglect the worship of Vishnu and you don't render bhakti to Vishnu, sthanat brashtaha. You cannot maintain your position as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Patantyadaha. You are to be considered a fallen person. You are not, fallen person means you are not qualified to be called a person who belongs to the varnashrama dharma. So this is what the Vedic scriptures state. So if you look at Ashwatthama, he was born in a Brahmana family, but he was not a devotee of Krishna. And so therefore, Krishna and Arjuna, seeing from the scriptural perspective, referred to him as Brahmabandhu, not as a Brahmana. But the moment Ashwatthama was brought before Draupadi, what happened? Draupadi is saying, oh, he's a Brahmana. That was Draupadi's words. Not only Brahmana, she said he is Guru. Actually, what do Shastras state? Shat karma nipuno vipro mantra tantra visharadaha. If there is a Brahmana who is perfect in all the karma kandiya portions of the Vedas, mantra tantra visharada, he is an expert in chanting all kinds of mantras, doing all kinds of yajnas, sacrifices and all that. Avaishnavo guru nasyad. If he is not a devotee of Vishnu, you cannot accept him as a guru. Just because one is a Brahmana, you cannot accept him as guru. Swapacho Vaishnavo Guru. On the other hand, if somebody is born in a family which is considered outside of the Varnashrama system, in the Varnashrama system there is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These four classes are called the Varnashrama system, Sanatana Dharma. So those who are unable to qualify for any of these four, they are classified as Chandalas and Yavanas and Mlechas. Means those people who do not qualify to be in the Varnashrama system. Shwapacho Vaishnavo Guruhu. If a person is born in such a family which is completely outcast meaning they are not considered part of the Varnashrama system, they are not included in any of the Varnashrama activities. Even if one is born in such a Mlecha, Yavana, Shwapacha kind of family, if he becomes a devotee of Vishnu, then he can be accepted as a guru. But a Brahmana, if he is not a devotee of Vishnu, he cannot be accepted as a guru. So from that perspective also, Ashwatthama cannot become a guru, because he is not a devotee of Krishna. If he was a devotee of Krishna, why would he attack Arjuna? He would not try to, fling a Brahmastra at him and try to kill him. That is what happened when Arjuna and Krishna followed Ashwatthama after he killed the sleeping sons of the Pandavas. What happened? They followed him to capture him. Immediately Ashwatthama released a Brahmastra on Arjuna without any warning. So that itself shows he is not a devotee of Krishna. So therefore, he can neither be a Brahmana nor a Guru. But look at Draupadi. She is saying, Brahmano Nitaram Guru. He is a Brahmana and he is our Guru. So her behavior, Prabhupada is explaining from the common man's perspective, is like that of a child. A child, what happens is because she is woman. And a woman's discrimination, when the Shastras state that a woman is less intelligent, it is not in a deprecating manner. It means that the intelligence of a woman is like that of a child. Children also have intelligence. It is not that children are unintelligent. But children's discriminatory power is not like that of an adult. Isn't it? You see, a child, for it to discriminate what is right, what is wrong, analyze from the Shastric perspective. If you take a 5-year-old child and explain to him what is Brahmana and Brahmabandhu, what the child will understand? Child cannot understand. So, when the Shastras state that the woman is less intelligent, it means in the matters of Shastric discrimination, woman's intelligence is like that of a child. So, this is, we are speaking of generally. Generally means if you take an average, majority of the women will be like that. If you take the average of men, there will be men also like that, who will not be able to discriminate properly according to Shastric vision. But the percentage of men who will be able to discriminate will be more than that of those men who cannot discriminate. But if you take women, the women who can discriminate will be lesser in number. And the women who can discriminate, they will become devotees of Krishna, then they cannot be said to be less intelligent. That you cannot say. So Prabhupada says, any woman, the moment she becomes a devotee, she starts chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna ye bhaje se bada chatura, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Anyone who worships Krishna, who renders devotional service to Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not say only men who worship Krishna. Krishna says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Krishna ye bhaje. Anybody who worships Krishna, anybody who renders devotional service to Krishna, even if she is a woman, say bada chatura. That woman also becomes the most intelligent person. She becomes more intelligent than a man who doesn't worship Krishna. So this Shastric injunction that women are less intelligent does not apply to women who become devotees of Krishna. It is a general rule. So when it is said that women are less intelligent, it is because their discriminatory power is not like that of a discriminating, learned man who can discriminate from the perspective of Shastras. Women may be able to discriminate other things. You can take them into a job, you can make them CEOs, they will be able to discriminate. You can take them into politics also, they will be able to discriminate. They will be able to do. But when you tell them from a Shastric perspective you discriminate, what happens? Their heart will rule, their emotions will rule over their intellectual discrimination. That is what is happening with Draupadi. Draupadi also knows Shastra, but her emotions overcame. No. All these years we have seen him as the son of our Guru, as a Brahmana. Now just because of this one act, how can we treat him like a non-Brahmana? That is the perspective she is coming from. And another thing is, because of this lesser discriminative capacity of a woman, Shastras state that for a woman, Swatantriyam narhati, Striyam Swatantriyam narhati. Women cannot be given independence. So when we say women cannot be given independence, what does it mean? So in today's world, if you make this statement, women should not be given independence, finished. You will be steamrolled. So we have to understand from the perspective of the scriptures, why the scriptures tell like this. If you see, I'll take a little more time, although we are running out of time. So if you see, I was giving the example of India getting independence, right? On August 15, 1947, India got independence. Now, India alone did not get independence. Along with India, Pakistan also got independence, right? Now, the Britishers, when they gave independence to India, they stepped out of India. They said, okay, now we are handing it over to you. Pakistan is yours, India is yours, you do whatever you want, and they walked out. And when they walked out, how much money India had? India had at that time in 1947, 400 crore rupees. 400 crore rupees means today's world, you can say about 40,000 crores. Maybe 40,000 or 50,000, 60,000 crores. In today's value, if you see. That much money was left in the coffers, in the treasury. So you can imagine India and such a vast country. Today, India's economy, India's foreign reserves, not economy, India's foreign reserves is 63 lakh crores. And that is not enough for Indians today, isn't it? So you can imagine 40,000 crores, what was it for India at that time? So with 400 crores now, that 400 crores was not fully for India. Out of that understanding was 75 crores will go to Pakistan, because Pakistan is created as a new country. Where is money for Pakistan? So India gave first installment, they gave 20 crores to Pakistan. And for 1 year, till October 1948, the Reserve Bank of India was running all the banks in Pakistan also. Because they had to set up the system, no? Pakistan has got independence just now. They don't have anything. They don't have a capital, they don't have a economy, they don't even have a currency. They were taking Indian rupees, on that they were printing Pakistan, this one, and they were using it as Pakistani rupee. For 1 year, till October 1948. After October 48, they started printing their own currency, they had their own banking system and all that. So India supported Pakistan for about a year. So first they gave 20 crores, and then Pakistan attacked Kashmir. So India said, we will not give you balance 55 crore. You step out of Kashmir, then we'll give you 55 crore. So Pakistan got caught. But then Gandhiji went on a hunger strike. How can you stop 55 crores? You have to give it right now to Pakistan. So because he went on strike, India had to give 55 crores to Pakistan. So the entire 75 crores went to Pakistan. And Kashmir never got solved. Otherwise, that time itself, Kashmir could have got solved. But anyway, history. So India was left with 325 crores. And out of the 325 crores, what did India do with the 325 crores? 50% of that, 160 crores, they said, we are keeping it for defense. Gone. They are left with, the whole country is left with 160 crores now. And with that, they had to rebuild the whole economy. So you can imagine, it was a tough time. So much amount of poverty, so much amount of illiteracy, life expectancy is so low, medical facilities are non-existent. The Britishers had treated Indians like insects, worms. So from there, India has come to this level today. After how many years? 75, 76 years. We come to this level. Still, we are reeling with so many of the problems which the Britishers created. So you see, when 1947, when India and Pakistan got independence, what is the meaning of independence? Now you are on your own. You are on your own. You have to figure out your currency, your bank, how much money you have, how the people will survive, what they will eat. Everything is left to yourself. India managed. India somehow managed and stood up on its feet and came back. What happened to Pakistan? You are seeing what it is today. They are going around the world with a begging bowl. Right? So, in Pakistan, today, the price of 1 kg atta is something like 200 rupees. And 1 liter of milk costs some 100, 150 rupees. This is Pakistan for you. Common man cannot drink milk and all that. It's like that. So you see, they are struggling even today. This is the meaning of independence. Independence means you have to fend for yourself. You have to figure out how to take care of your maintenance, what will be your source of money, what food you will eat, how you will protect yourself. Everything you have to figure out yourself. This is called independence. So when Shastras are saying, Striyam Swatantriyam Narhati, what it means is, you cannot leave a woman like that she is without protection. She has to figure out for herself what she will eat, how she will maintain herself, how she will, tomorrow what she will have for a home to lie down in, where will she have money to take care of herself. We cannot do that to a woman. Woman means you have to give all facilities to her. You should not make her stressed up thinking of how she will maintain herself. It is the responsibility of the man to take all that stress that is required to figure out how he will maintain and protect the family. Woman is not supposed to take that stress. This is called Striyam Swatantram Narhati. So, if you take it in the perspective that it is oppression, suppression and all that, then that's not the example you see in the Shastras. You see how Draupadi is saying, and what she said, her words, although what she was saying was not Shastrically correct, still her words were given respect by Arjuna. You will see that in the next verse. Krishna also, he also paid heed to what Draupadi was saying. It is not that, hey, you woman, less intelligent, keep quiet. That's not the way she was treated. Women were never treated like that. When the Pandavas, Yudhishthira Maharaj came to Kunti Maharani, after Draupadi was won by Arjuna, then Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas came to Kunti, their mother, and told her, we have bought a wonderful jewel for you. So Kunti Maharani, without understanding what it was, she said, all 5 brothers share equally. And the brothers got shocked. Now what to do? Mother's order. She has said. And then they told her the jewel we have brought is daughter-in-law. Arjuna won her in the Swayamvara. And the Kunti was, oh my God, what did I say? Hey, whatever I said, don't consider. Leave it, forget it. She is Arjuna's wife. The Pandavas said, no. You have said we have to share equally. That's the end of it. We have to do it. We have to think how to do. That's all. You have said means over. Mother's word is final. You see, that much respect was given to a woman's word. If Swatantrayam Narhati means shut up and keep quiet, just do what you are told. If that was the thing, Kunti would never be given this kind of respect. In fact, the whole Kurukshetra war, why it happened? The clashes between the Pandavas and Kauravas was always there, right from childhood. But how did it come to a boiling point of them declaring that we are going to fight them and kill them? How did it come to the point that Bhima said, I'm going to drink the blood of Dushasana? How did it come? Because they sullied the honor of Draupadi. Woman's honor was considered so high that if it is sullied, if a woman's honor is played with, then you have to pay with your life. So you see, if women were considered to be suppressed and oppressed, Striyam Swatantram Narhati, if the meaning of that is they have to be oppressed, where is the question of giving them this kind of honor and treatment? Where is the question of their respect, their dignity being treated higher than a man's life? So Striyam Swatantram Narhati means that they should not be given they should not be thrust with the stresses of maintaining themselves. It is the duty of the man of the family, whether it is the father or the son or the husband. Any one of them has to take the responsibility to take care of all the women in the family. There is no question of saying, no, you are a woman, you go and earn for yourself. Nothing doing. That a man cannot do. So you see, so woman had that privilege that she didn't have to go out and work and earn a livelihood for herself. That was the privilege of a woman in the Vedic society. Women were not expected to go and earn money. So that does not mean it is like for instance, let us say, the children in the house, every child in a family has the privilege to depend on the parents, right? Is the privilege of every child, no? Not that once the child is born, the parents leave him on the road and tell him, now you take care of yourself. Give you independence. Given you full independence. Do whatever you want. You take care of yourself. You cannot do that. If you do that, what will happen? The government will come and arrest the parents. What are you doing? It's your responsibility to take care of the child. No, I'm giving independence to the child. What kind of independence? Crazy. Similarly, in the name of independence, you cannot let a woman in the street. It is her privilege, just like a child's privilege to be maintained by the parents. Even the government recognizes that. Like that, every woman had a privilege. She did not have to fend for herself. It was every man's responsibility to take care of her. So it was a responsibility. It was not some exploitation or something like that. So therefore, from that material perspective, Draupadi behaved like an ordinary woman who did not have enough discrimination. But Draupadi was not an ordinary woman. She was a devotee of Krishna. Therefore, Prabhupada gives another perspective. A devotee is supposed to be shastrameva chakshusha. He is supposed to be aware and cognizant of all the scriptural rules and regulations and all the intricacies of dharma. A devotee should be well versed with. So why is Draupadi behaving like this? Because when you look from a devotee's perspective, a pure devotee is ready to forgive even his enemy. So Draupadi is not thinking revenge. We have to kill him. Take his life. No, she is becoming very soft-hearted. Why we have to kill him? And she will give a wonderful reason also for that in the next upcoming verses. So from a spiritual perspective, Draupadi's behavior was in keeping with how a pure devotee functions. Pure devotees never have enmity in their heart. They don't bear grudge towards others. They are always ready to forgive others. And that's why you will see the Pandavas, even after undergoing so much tribulation, being tortured so much by Duryodhana, and being so much injustice they have to suffer at the hands of Duryodhana. Still, when it came to the flashpoint, the Pandavas said, okay, give 5 villages, don't give us back Indraprastha. Indraprastha is a city which we built with our hard work and labor. You have hijacked it, no problem, you keep it, give us 5 villages, we'll be happy with that. To that extent, the Pandavas were ready. That's the quality of a pure devotee. So, Draupadi is exhibiting her characteristic as a pure devotee. That is the other perspective which Prabhupada is giving. So, these are some of the things which we can understand from today's verse. I'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.